What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Eurythmics. And we're returning to We Tour 1, 1989. And the next track in the playlist is Revival. So Revival speaks to something coming back, being restored to a previous state, whether that's coming back alive or simply returning to some degree of activity. So I feel like this may relate to an emotional revival. I suppose we could be talking something more physical and tangible, but my expectation, given that a lot of their songs are about emotional feelings in relation to relationships or interpersonal affairs, I would expect maybe something in that direction, but it's a single word title and it's a concept that can be applied quite broadly and in different contexts, so I'll see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Eurythmics, the track is Revival, and it's from their 1989 album We Two Are One. Some funky sound. Curious who the other vocalist was there. There was clearly a male vocal in there. If my brain and mouth would cooperate, that would be great. But yeah, so it opens with a very funky sound, and indeed some of those keyboard lines had a bit of a soul funk sort of sound. But one of the main renderings or usages of the term revival is a church revival and that like religious ecstatic feeling, and it definitely had a bit of that gospel sound to it and a bit of a, hands in the air, get your life back into a better place through believing and feeling like you're part of something. So someone stumbling down the road looking like they're in a bad way, they could find a way to get back to where they were and to clean themselves up and so on. Sounds like there's a girl who is the saddest thing in the world, and she has like a degree of emotion, but she's all alone. She doesn't have a friend in the world, and perhaps she could find a sense of community, belonging, and excitement in this revival. So it sounds like rejuvenation, and whether or not there's a more overt religious element, which I didn't really pick up on that. It seemed more like using that type of phrasing and that type of sonic atmosphere to indicate the idea of getting your life back on track, picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, and finding a better way, feeling better about things. It felt like it was more in that direction. Then there was those bits at the end where she was, I forget what one of the lines was, but something like right after that was the, just like James Brown. So it sounds like, again, drawing on like soul and other references to speak about, getting back into a compelling way after being, what was like the Superman line? I forget exactly, like being dirty and so on. So it sounds like it's, again, about rejuvenation, revival in a more general or personal sense. It definitely seemed like it wasn't in the direction of romance and interpersonal emotions and that type of relationship concept, which a number of their tunes do talk about, but this one seemed to be more general, and any one person who's in a bad way could find revival if they're willing to look and to, draw on the strength and belief of those around them. Definitely, again, some funky sounds. There was that little like brass riff, which I always wonder, is that real brass or is that keyboard? And it was sort of offset with one of the keyboard riffs, so I'm not sure exactly all the instrumental elements, but it's not the first time that I've heard Eurythmics music that mixes a bit of that 80s synth sound with some funk and some soul. Indeed, the entire one of their albums had that sort of direction to it. So ultimately, the sonics are maybe not vintage or like trademark Eurythmics, but Eurythmics very recognizably and identifiably for someone who's now gone through multiple Eurythmics albums. So again, just enjoying and savoring this album as we move toward the end of the Eurythmics run. Again, I do believe I'll be able to go through some solo Annie stuff, so looking forward to that too. Once again, shout out to Phil for sharing the catalog at large. And yeah, ultimately, I did react to one track from Dave Stewart post Eurythmics. Shout out to Shafiq who sent me the, Dave Stewart and the Spiritual Cowboys, I believe. So if you didn't catch that reaction in my Lucky Dip folder, you can look for that. Otherwise, Luca the Sleepy Kitty and I will see you next time. Peace.